Today's episode is brought to you by Shutterstock. For 25% off on your new account, just head on over to Shutterstock.com and make sure to use promo code GameBreaker10 to save 25% off.
Game Breaker TV.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to This Week in MMO, episode 165 for October 11, 2013. You're watching Game Breaker. I'm Gary Gannon. Coming up on today's show, we've got an Elder Scrolls Q&A to go over. EverQuest next is too exciting for words. And in a few more years, you'll need a job reference just to get into EVE Online. All that and more, but first, joining us as always, the grumpy gamer, Mr. Jason Winter. How are you, sir?
Oh, jeez. I'm doing okay. My back's a little sore, my knee a little bit too. Is this what it's like to get old? I'm asking you, Gary, because you're older than me. So.
Zing! Ooh, I don't know.
Oh.
Who's got the gray? Might want to...
Yeah, uses hair club for men or whatever.
0. I wouldn't be above it. I would do it.
Yeah.
Joining us as always, Mr. Mike Byrne. How are you, sir?
Younger, I guess, than everybody else here, apparently. I think I fall in between you guys, but that's all right.
That'd be pretty tough. There's only like 8 months or so between.
Oh, well, then we're going to have to mathematically figure this out then after the show.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to go somewhere else with that, but I'll just leave that alone.
Oh, come on. Already.
And here we go.
And welcome to This Week in MMO for all the new listeners. Waiting for your Hearthstone beta key. You just stumbled in here going, give me a key. And now there's some show and some guys are making
45 seconds in, sexual
innuendos. There
Let's
you go.
do it.
TTP.
In your endo.
Whoa.
All right, so let's talk about some Elder Scrolls Online. So ZeniMax answered some more Elder Scrolls Online questions this week in their Q&A. To start off, they talked about armor and weapon diversity in the game. It's actually, armor and weapon diversity has never really been like a mind-blowing thing in these single-player Elder Scrolls games. But I guess without mods, I should say. Without mods. Mods are always where it kind of really got crazy. But so they gave an example. They talked about how like a level 1 orcish sword would look very different to a level 50 orcish sword, that kind of thing. So it sounds... I don't know. It sounds like they're kind of keeping in mind how important diversity is in an MMO, much more so. I don't know, Jason. Do you think we're going to see a lot more diversity in the MMO than we would have seen in the single player games?
I think you have to, because in the single player games they only have like 5 or 6. It just goes from for a sword, like I said, there's like an orcish sword and like Breton sword or something, or like a human sword, and like 3 or 4 others are going to like dragon minion sword or whatever. So yeah, they know they have to have a lot more than that just to keep people happy and to give people something to strive for, to give them something to grind for, to play for, to get. So, yeah.
Top of that, it says that it sounds like they're they're not limited to the 9 racial styles of gear. So there are plenty of others, as well as they're using the word tints and materials that armor can be made of, which. I mean, I guess it's true to life, but it doesn't really sound as in-depth as a dye system, which most MMOers are used to, right? But they probably want to do that by design, so you're not like running around with some shiny pink sword.
I totally want my pink sword.
See, now you guys know the game that I'm into right now, okay? And when I saw this Q&A about differences in armor, I was actually like, oh, thank God. Because the game that I'm into right now doesn't have that right now. Mm-hmm. And Gary, you know this, playing some Final Fantasy, where it's like every 6 or 7 levels you get a new piece of gear, and it looks very, very similar to something you had 10 levels ago or 5 levels ago, and then there's 40 people running around that all the same thing, and they have dyes in there too to change those things. But, I mean, I took off artifact armor to put on level 50 hard instance armor that I got, and it looked like something I had 20. So I can really appreciate where ZeniMax is trying to take this. I do wish the die system, though, would be a little more open, at least from what we've heard. It's kind of like, I'll let you roll a character, but it has to have brown hair, but Jason, I'll let you pick the highlights.
Three different shades of brown.
Right. That's it. We'll give you a couple shades of brown, and you can tint the highlights as much as you want. I hope they open that up a little more, but thank God there's diversity.
Well, there's two different things, right? So they got to go after the crowd that plays Elder Scrolls single-player games, which are not used to. There's not a lot of diversity, which understands because you're not seeing tons of other players running around, so you don't need to be your super special little snowflake that everybody wants to be. Doesn't matter. You're just you in the world.
That they're all based usually in one region, so everyone in Skyrim, most people wear Skyrim-ish kind of armor. So.
Right, but the flip side of that is the Elder Scrolls is this is very serious business. The Elder Scrolls universe is very serious. We are not going to have any rainbow bright colored swords in Elder Scrolls. So I think they're going to probably put more restrictions on palettes and things like that. Guild Wars 2 had a really good system for that though. Mm-hmm. Guild Wars 2 kind of had that color palette system that really I think worked well. So I don't know. It's weird. I'm kind of flip-flopped on this. Like, I kind of like a world to not look ridiculous. I know Burns is like completely opposite. Like, he doesn't care if you look like Rainbow Bright and you're running around, like, whatever. I kind of like my world to look a little bit...
Where did it come from that I don't care if I look like Rainbow Bright in an MMO?
You want zero restrictions. You're like the anarchist MMO player.
I do. I want, if you're going to let me color it at all, then let me color it the way I want to. And if you don't like it, tough. Color the stuff.
I know, but I don't know. But it's Elder Scrolls, man. It's serious. It's brown and gray, and I don't want your pink sword.
What? You don't think there's some...
Don't be sticking your pink sword in my face.
If Tamriel existed...
Oh,
jeez,
okay, guys. You want to be alone sticking pink swords in people's faces.
If Tamriel existed as its own world, you don't think there'd be some lunatics in it anyway? Come on.
And I will say, having played a lot of Lord of the Rings Online, which is another serious kind of fantasy world, there are people who run around in there with pink armor, or dwarves in red evening dresses or something.
Were they doing that in the beginning though? Because now it's just it's a free for all. Now
Well, they've added more dye colors.
Yeah,
but
of course.
You could pretty much do whatever you want. I mean, you could take the armor and, as long as there's a dye color for it, do whatever you want with it.
Because there's that threshold, that hump that MMO companies go through, and once they crest that thing and they come down, they're just like, let them do whatever the F they want, man. Give them bondage gear, pink gear, whatever they want. Doesn't even matter. Lore, Tolkien, screw that guy. Just give it to them.
Hey, how much should the ball gag be in the cash shop, guys?
Hey,
it's not going in yet.
No,
next
not
patch.
going in.
Next patch. No. Gotcha. That's when we don't care anymore? Okay.
I don't know. I kind of like the fact that they're calling it... I'm going to assume that they're calling it tints and materials, and they're kind of not going into a super in-depth dye system. And I got to say, I actually kind of think that's a good thing.
I'm okay with that. Again, like I said, if they want to keep some sort of thematic, some sort of limit on the craziness, I think I'm okay with it.
We're talking about craziness. We're talking about colors. We're not talking about something.
This is all the info they give us.
We're talking about the Elder Scrolls world here, Mr. Byrne. This is serious.
So
this is serious. This is hardcore RPG.
So what? What if I want to RPG somebody that's just one big walking clash?
There are no pink.
Do it.
The Night's Watchman will not be wearing pink ever.
Guys are goofy. Dude, give me options, but not a lot. Don't give me a lot. Just a couple. Just a couple.
Restrict them. How ridiculous would it be if you were watching Game of Thrones and somebody just walked in the frame with a pink sword? Ridiculous. You wouldn't do it.
They're all lunatics there. It doesn't matter what any of them wear.
But you wouldn't do it. And what?
A Targaryen might do it. So
maybe. I don't know. There's an aesthetic. There's a color palette. There's an aesthetic. These developers spend lots of time crafting the color palette of the areas and the world and how they look and feel, and then Byrne just comes along, just ruins the shit. He's just I've got a stupid name Asshat 27 and I've got a pink sword.
Hey, an X on either side of that name. Thank you very much.
There you go. And a couple numbers. I'm not
Center
a bot.
That shit.
And an underscore.
Another hard-hitting question. Byrne will hate this one. Probably. Although there isn't going to be a hunting skill, you will be able to get hides and leather from some wildlife in the game.
I don't mind that one. It just means you're going to kill them. There's nothing you have to level up to do it besides being strong enough to kill it.
Now, Gary, as I can recall from watching your initial video of Skyrim, didn't you try to punch fish? Wasn't that your
Yes.
thing?
Yes.
So you know all about going after wild animals as a thing. So.
It's a thing. You go to that first area, the first thing I did, you get down that first road in Skyrim and you get to that river, you just go and just start punching fish. Did you ever watch that show where they stick their arm in fish's mouths? You ever, what's it called? It's called,
Yep.
Come on, somebody knows what it's called.
Catfishing. What's it called?
Somebody in the chat room, I'll tell
I can't
you.
remember.
These like insane noodling. That's it. These
Noodling.
insane freaking like backwoods country Fs just like going into swamps. And they like stick their arm down into like the swamp and they find a fish and they stick the fish in their entire arm and it's called noodling. It's ridiculous. So I want to do that in Skyrim. Just punch fish. All right. I guess you can totally.
But you can't do it with a pink shirt on, for God's
Hell
sake.
no! Hell no!
I want to be able to catch catfish by shoving my arm down their throat, please. But God help you if you give me the color yellow.
Hey, I want to totally RP my noodling and punching fish. All right, so don't break my immersion, Mr. Byrne.
Serious
Never.
role-playing.
I'm not playing MMOs with you ever again.
Bitter. All I want is colors. That's all. Give me some colors.
Here's a direct quote that will make a lot of MMO players chuckle. Quote, there will be many choices about how you gear yourself in SO with no right choice for everyone. Don't say that 6 months after the game has started.
Right?
Imagine you just yell that in chat, in general chat. Be like, no, you're wrong.
Especially if you're wearing pink pants to go with the armored.
Well, and as part of that whole discussion, they also talked about set bonuses. So clearly they want you to have certain gear on at certain times, all in sets, by giving you bonuses that way. So how can you tell me, oh, there's no right set, but we're going to give you bonuses if you match this stuff up correctly?
I've really grown disillusioned with set bonuses because they do that. They do force you to wear certain things. Or at the very least be like 4 of one and 2 of the other or something like that if you want to do it that way. I wish they were doing something a little more like Guild Wars 2 system or something where the set bonuses are independent from the look of the armor.
I mean, why don't more MMOs just wouldn't the transmog like sort of solution just be like almost at launch at this point? Like, shouldn't that just be a thing?
Yeah. Yep.
Just be like, hey,
I'm disappointed that Final Fantasy doesn't have it right now. It's coming, yes, I know, but it's one of those. Yeah, it should have been there at launch. I can't imagine it's that hard to do.
It kind of.
Everybody's doing it.
It's got to be. I almost feel like that's like one of the next things that needs to become a staple. Like MMOs.
Yeah.
Always
totally.
do certain things that just like everything going forward has to do that. That should be one of those things. Just let the transmog happen from the beginning of the game. Let me put my stats on anything I possibly want, except for Mike Byrne. Don't let him do it. He can't have that ability. So,
Can't put it on his pink shirts.
no, he can't. All right. Next up, SOE, Sony Online Entertainment, released a dev diary video on EverQuest Landmark. Super excited about the EverQuest Landmark. Can't wait for this. This is actually the first dev diary. They've been doing a bunch of other videos, roundtables, things like that, but it's actually the first dev diary I think that they've done. And they've picked the most exciting topic they could possibly think of. That's right, inventory management. Inventory management, gentlemen.
We have a new game coming out. Let's talk about it. Where should we start? Bags.
Inventory.
All right,
Bags. Let's talk about slots and management. No, all right.
Whoa.
Well, as obviously we keep talking about EverQuest Next on TWIMMO, a lot of this information is speculation. We don't know if it'll apply to just Landmark or to both games. If you guys know, like Sony are releasing both EverQuest Landmark and EverQuest Next, so 2 separate entities. But we know a few things about Landmark, at least. Landmark, they're saying, is going to have at least 50 different resources. There are 50 different resources to gather in Landmark. Again, I don't know if that's going to be both games, if there's going to be a Next or Next as well proper. Who knows? Do you guys have any sort of frame of reference of how many resources other games have. I'm not a big crafter, so I don't really keep tabs on like the number of things and resources. Maybe chat room can help us with that. I don't know.
I mean, if you're talking like base mats, like your ore and your leather and your hides or whatever, I mean, generally there's like 4 or 5 categories of that and jewels, so that'd be like having 10 in each, unless you're counting about like the extra things like you need a powder claw or something to go in as well. But if you're talking like basic fundamental mats, 50 sounds like an awful lot.
Sounds like a good amount, right?
I'm the opposite. 50 sounds small to
really
me as far as overall different mats. Again, look at a recent crafting game in Final Fantasy where the first you have all the different crafting professions, and the first 10 or 15 levels are all based on creating the same type of thing, where you can buy the materials from an NPC, and each of those NPCs is housing about 10 to 15 different materials for multiple different 5 or 6 different professions, and that doesn't count any of the stuff required to create anything over level 15, which you have to go and farm up in the game proper itself.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the harvesting stuff, the wood.
Yeah, the harvesting stuff alone, I think, would be well more than 50. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
To me, 50 seems small, especially for... I wonder, maybe somebody that's more into Minecraft than I am could throw a number for that, because that's what we commonly keep equating Landmark to be kind of like, right? So
yeah,
is 50 a big or a small number in an environment like Minecraft?
Well, I do want to clarify something, because Chatham is trying to clarify so everybody understands that we're talking about it's 50 plus material, not materials, resources. Resources, not materials. So that's two different things kind of like we're looking at there. So we also know in Landmark, you're going to use your resources obviously to build tools, which allow you to more rapidly explore the world, things like that. If anybody's played Minecraft, you know, it's making a mining pick and diamond mining pick, things like that. So you're going to be able to, that sort of thing, upgrade your shovels and pickaxes and all that kind of stuff. And we also heard about crafting recipes that you're going to be able to find in the world through exploring. It's not quite clear what exactly you can sort of use them for in Landmark, though. I mean, I assume it's going to be, I mean, I don't know. What do you think you're going to be doing like a lot of weapon or armor stuff, or it's going to be mostly structural building and things of that nature?
You have to have some kind of equipment because they say they're going to have combat. So,
or
maybe it could all just be strictly cosmetic too. Assuming it's not a pink piece of armor, because we know can't allow that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's got to be the usual weapon and armor smithing.
Sons of bitches. It all comes back to pink armor.
Pink armor!
It just keeps circling back.
Have we heard anything about gear progression in EverQuest Next?
Nope. Well, I mean, besides the type of progression that you need materials to create this type of shovel to get these materials to create a better type of shovel to get better materials to create a better shovel, but not like combat progression or leveling type gear stuff. No.
How I mean, just speculation for a moment. But how since Landmark is essentially, of course, you know, there's going to be combat and things like that in Landmark, but essentially, like, it's going to be a lot about building and crafting and resources. I mean, what do you sort of think that? How intricate and granular do you think the crafting is going to be? Let's say with like furniture. Like, do you think it's actually going to get to the point that's like, all right, put these 4 things together and you've got a table? Or is it going to be like, you know, put these things together, you have legs, put these things together, you have a tabletop, and, you know, actually have different qualities of wood that make different qualities of table, things like that. Do you think they're going to go super granular with it?
I would love it if they did, but the short answer there is no.
Really? Why? Why
I don't think they get that involved for the actual creation of the item. They're looking at a much more involved process from get the materials to finished product, yes, I think, but not in the actual creation of the item. I do think you'll see things like using this type of wood will yield this type, a different type of wood will yield this type of table instead, but I don't think you're going to get granular as far as creating, you got to make 4 legs, then you got to make a top, then you can make a table. Although
I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to go the opposite. I think they're going to, because they want to make EverQuest Next is their sandbox, right? It's the sandbox MMO. Like, to me, that just kind of, I've never played a sandbox MMO that was not more granular than sort of a theme park MMO. They're usually a lot more sort of intricate with stuff like that. I think stats are going to, again, going back to, Smedley talks a lot about, harking back to the Star Wars Galaxies days. Everybody drink.
Yeah.
That was super granular, right? Like all of your materials had stats on them. And, if you wanted to make the best like pistols, you had to like have the actual best materials to make them. And they created all kinds of the same gun could be made by 5 different people and you'd have 5 different completely damage outputs and things like that. I think they're going to go that far. I think they're totally going to do it.
They do. Awesome. I'd love them to. I just don't think they're going to.
What do you think, Jason?
I think they're looking at a more granular overall process, not the meta process.
Yeah, I think it's part of it. What do you think, Jason?
I think I could see something like an optional ingredient being the sort of thing that changes that around. Like instead of building 4 legs in a table, you have the basic table recipe, and maybe you can add another thing to it. A bit of crushed diamond or whatever to make a glittery table or something like that. Same thing if you want crushed diamond in your gun to make it a glittery gun or something like that. I could see something like that going on, but. Yeah, being individual parts to build up.
So many ideas. What if the quality of items and things like that actually give you sort of like different voxel brushes and abilities to actually like make things more intricate and actually make better designs?
Yeah, I mean, certainly it's all going to be visual. I mean, they're probably going to have a lot of options for visual.
I just like that Jason's gut reaction was to compare one item that was not glittery and the other one being glittery if you added materials. It wasn't, this one will be stronger and have a bigger barrel and it'll be a bigger broadsword.
Glittery!
Like, I want it glittery, please.
All I want is glittery. I'm gonna what's the word?
I'm gonna put on the pig shirt. You run around with a glittery gun, and we are gonna look awesome in EverQuest.
I'm gonna bedazzle all my gear.
Right?
Bedazzled sweatshirts going around everywhere. That's Jason's crafting little shop is going to be in EverQuest next. Jason's bedazzled cat shirts.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's move on to the good stuff. That's right, inventory management. So 3 different types in Landmark: the regular bags that you can carry about with you, stationary chests that you basically build in areas that you own, and also the vault, which basically sounds kind of like a player-crafted bank, doesn't it? Is that what you guys got from it?
Yeah, kind of like an ender chest type
the
thing
vault,
from
well,
Minecraft.
the vault you can craft is like a bank access. So.
Yeah, more like a bank access. Now, in the main EverQuest Next game, whenever that actually comes out, because they're probably not going to be handing out the claims like candy over there, I'm guessing this whole aspect probably is going to work quite different than in Landmark and in EQ Next.
Really? I mean,
I think so.
I think it would work the same actually, because you would have the main inventory is the personal bags. That would probably work the same in both. The chest inside your place. We don't even know if you're really gonna have a place in EverQuest Next, like you are in Landmark. Like the idea that you're gonna have like this. I'm assuming that you are able to get a claim and build something. If you don't have a place that's yours, then of course yes, you have nowhere to put this chest. And I would assume, because they said one thing during the video, which was this. I keep calling it an ender chest off of Minecraft because that's essentially what it is. A chest that has the same materials regardless of where you open it. As long as you have access point. They specifically mentioned community building, community crafting. So, again, me having access to materials that I've farmed up in this ender chest, that I could create an access point at Gary's plot and build some things using my material. So I would think it would work the same, provided you can get a plot.
Here's what
provided
I
you can
about
get a plot.
What I wonder about, though, for your the other chest, the personal chest, is so that just exists, and that's just a spot where it has all your stuff in it, and it's only there. It's the only place it is. But what happens then when Gary the Griefer comes along and bashes into my castle or whatever? Can he just loot my chest?
Hell yeah, I hope so.
But now the thing is, though, then no one will ever use the chest.
Right, that's why you have the vault. Go put your shit in the vault.
That's exactly the point. That's what I'm saying. Is why even have that option then? If it's something that people can take from, because you're never going to use it.
Please do it. I don't know, they asked if people wanted permadeath. You know how I answered that.
I really am never playing this with Gary. Ever.
That's exactly. Well, yeah, but yeah.
Ever. I'll deal with not having the colors I want in ESO. I'll go play that instead.
Finally this week, Dave,
I'm never going to have any shit. It's going to be the only MMO where I don't have shit in my bags, because every time I farm something decent, Ganon comes over with 6 people I don't know and steals the damn thing.
Oh, I can't wait for EverQuest. All right, so finally this week, Dave Georgeson tweeted that we would be getting some really cool stuff soon. He says we have cool landmark stuff to show you in about a little less than a month. It's all being prepped now. We've heard Landmark is supposed to launch this year. It's already mid-October. He's saying less than a month would put you mid-November. What do you think? Launch announcement coming in November, coming in December? It's
announcement coming maybe, but I think if it was the actual launch, they would have said this is the actual launch. I don't think he would have.
You think they're going to make? I was thinking about this when he put this out. Do you think they're going to make a really big deal about the launch of Landmark, or do you think it's just going to be like this thing they kind of push out? It's not really like. Yeah. I don't know if it's going to feel like a game launch, right? Like it's not going. I don't know. Like, are they going to really put like some marketing dollars behind this and really start ramping it up, or is it going to be like? I know they're going to talk about it. I know they're obviously prepping something, but how big do you think the push is going to be for this?
It depends on how much they have in the cash shop. The amount of marketing dollars we'll put into it is relevant to the number of dollars we can get out of it. So,
but really, in all seriousness, what do you think? I mean, like,
pretty true.
So I'm thinking no on both. I think there's not going to be it's not going to be a big heavy cash shop kind of thing, and they're not going to hit it with the full court press.
What do you think, Brian?
No, I don't think it's going to be that quiet. I think there's going to be some pretty buzzed advertising about it. I don't know if it'll be an extended campaign where you see like EverQuest Next, the actual game itself would probably have that longer, TV commercial campaign and all that stuff. I think this is going to get a fair amount of buzz, but it's going to be the internet-only type campaign. But I think it's going to be loud. I don't think this November announcement is... If it's related to launch at all, I do agree with Jason. It's just going to be an announcement of a launch date, not the launch of the product itself.
Well, better start following the Twitters and keeping it locked into EQNation.com. Keep it on EQ Nation. We've got an EverQuest site, so you guys better go over there now. Hang on, I'm looking at it. Making sure you guys are going. Is everybody going? EQNation.tv. Get over there now. EQNation.tv. We're covering everything. So if you want to be the first to know when everything goes, we will be covering it. All right. I want to talk about some EVE Online, but first I want to tell you guys about a great deal we got going on with Shutterstock, as I like to call it, our secret weapon of Game Breaker to make everything look awesome. I want to save you guys 25% off on your Shutterstock account. All you got to do is make sure that you use promo code GameBreaker10. If you guys have not checked out Shutterstock, it is online photography, vectors, video, clips, all kinds of stuff, icons. We literally use it every day. You guys have been hearing me talk. We've been talking about the Game Breaker Nation for quite some time now. Actually going to be talking a lot about it today on the GBN cast, so definitely tune into that. I'm going to be talking about the Game Breaker Nation, but GameBreakerNation.com is up with a splash page right now. And we're putting it together. We were looking for some graphics to do. We wanted to make it look cool and epic. We've got this Lannister-esque lion's head and crown. More lions. But again, when we were looking at this, I was like, I didn't have any direction. I didn't know what we wanted to do, and I didn't know what it really was supposed to look like. So the first thing I did for inspiration is I went over to Shutterstock and I typed in heraldry, and I just started looking at kind of what it came up. And I got all these great, vector sets of just ornate helms and little fleur-de-lis stuff and all kinds. You could use this stuff everywhere. And I just kept looking around and then scrolling down, and then bam, I saw this first lion. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. I kind of like that one. So I grabbed that, saved it to a light box. Kept kind of scrolling around. Some really cool black and white artwork here you can use for all kinds of dragons, minotaurs, all kinds of cool stuff. Found there's our Lannister lion. Found him, grabbed that one. And again, grabbed those, and literally within minutes, I took him out. I brought him into Illustrator really quick. I dropped on a black background and dialed back the opacity a little bit, and boom, we had a really cool splash page that kind of went up. And as soon as I posted it, I actually started getting tweets going like, it looks awesome. I love the way it looks. It looks cool. I like it. So that's, again, the power of just having great artwork at your fingertips, having good assets. So if you guys have a YouTube page or you make videos or guild website, anything like that, you have to check out Shutterstock. You don't even need to sign up for a subscription right off the bat. You can make a free account. So go over, make an account, start saving stuff to light boxes and things like that, and just seeing what's out there, get ideas, get inspired from it. And when you're ready to sign up, we want to save you guys 25% off on your account. All you got to do is make sure to use the promo code GameBreaker10 on checkout, and you will automatically save 25% off. And there's a few different ways. You have monthly subscriptions or 25-day subscriptions. You have images on demand, so if you only need a couple images and stuff like that. There's different possibilities and different ways to actually get images for every price point level and things like that. So check it out today. Go over to Shutterstock.com and make sure to use promo code GameBreaker10. All right, let's move on and talk a little bit about EVE Online. Actually, this is actually a cool story. So,
cool and a little depressing.
Why? I kind of love this. CCP are introducing new player training sessions. So these seminars are actually going to consist of 10-hour courses focusing on specific topics like PvP.
Lord. The fact that you had to use the word seminars to describe these.
I love this idea. Really? I think this is brilliant. Why are you guys scoffing at this?
So you're going to attend?
No, I'm about playing EVE.
So it's a great idea, but I'm not going to have anything to do with it.
But it's a great concept. Here, watch. I'm going to change your minds. I'm going to change your minds right now. I'm going to change your minds.
I hope so, because I think in your brain, you're
I'm
like,
gonna
that's
change your
a
mind
pretty
right now.
cool idea. But then when you look
at
at it in practice, my brain just goes, no. So change my mind.
Partially, this is exactly like some of the stuff we want to do with the Game Breaker Nation. We have a lot of MMO players who are really interested in League of Legends, let's say. But they're very sort of like afraid and apprehensive to kind of get into it because they're like, wow, those people are mean and I don't know how to play and I don't know what to do. And some of the events that we want to do are, hey, what if we did every Tuesday from 8 to 10 p.m., we are going to teach people who are complete noobs how to play League of Legends in a nice, environment that you're not going to get yelled at and screamed at. It's the same concept. Like they're going to I think this is great. It's not for everybody. If you're not but I think this is awesome. This is perfectly in line with what a sandbox MMO is. It's like taking these things and having. I think this is great. I think this is super awesome and it works perfectly
I put the two
for
in
EVE.
Slightly different categories.
Why? You
Yes,
want to
you're
learn how
right.
to PvP?
In the concept, the grand concept, they're almost the same thing. But I think there's a big distinction between, like, the Game Breaker Nation learning from each other, or going to raid together, or teaching each other better strategies for League of Legends, Dota 2, MOBAs, that type of thing, versus a company-sponsored seminar that is very rigid in the scheduling, and time-consuming. These are not short sessions. They're scheduled for an hour, but can run longer than that as well.
Come on,
and you're talking
you freaking
10
do
sessions,
raids that take an hour.
10 sessions for one topic per topic.
Yeah, but you don't. And here's the thing. So yeah, each session is going to last an hour, and then they're going to have social activities lasting 2 to 3 hours depending on attendance. I don't see the downside to this. Have either of you guys ever played EVE consistently or like a decent clip? Because like I can tell my story about EVE, and I did not understand like what EVE was really truly about and really get into it until I had somebody sort of take me under their wing and really show me what the game was about. And I tried like 2 or 3 times to get into it and always kind of failed. Just be like, really? Am I just supposed to just like hit space rocks all day and mine? And it's like, there's that. But when somebody literally took the time to show me, and it took hours, like literally took hours, I don't know, I got much more invested in the game.
And see, I think that's where this does better, is with the existing EVE audience that wants to learn more, or maybe find out if they're doing something a little bit off kilter with the way the design maybe could help them do a little better. It's being marketed and pumped as if it's if you've never played EVE or you've thought about playing EVE, but it's overwhelming to you, the concept, come under and we will show you these. And while that's a nice, community to game marketing thing, I think this actually serves much more focus to people that are the casual EVE player, if there is such a thing. The hardcore EVE guys and girls know what I'm talking about. There's somebody that isn't at top tier and could use a little bit of help. I think that's where this is perfect. I
could sit and argue and almost tell you that I think EVE Online could probably be the most casual MMO on the market, but that's a whole nother topic. And I think EVE Online, a lot of EVE Online players would agree with me. You can be. I'm not saying that EVE Online players are casual by nature. I'm saying that the game is actually quite easy to kind of play. A whole nother topic. I don't know. They have like an insane. They have 11 sessions planned out, already up all the way to November 18th. Now, the other thing about this that's really cool is if you can't make it live, which they know a lot of people won't be able to schedule in their real lives, they're going to do them live, but they're going to have all the sessions recorded and watched whenever. So you're going to have basically like a nice little section of YouTube, things like that on the website to have like, I always talk about EVE University was something that the players kind of took and started themselves in EVE. And I always thought it was a brilliant thing where actual players created this thing called EVE University and grabbed new players who were ever interested and taught them how to play. And it helped a lot. I mean, EVE's got a pretty steep learning curve. I think, I don't know. I think this is pretty awesome. I think more games should do this, but most games don't have the learning curve to kind of, I guess, even warrant it.
Well, most games will have some sort of new user tutorial or a series of videos that are just like what you said. But afterwards, they're going to put them up online. You can watch them and do it on your own time or whatever, and that's understandable. Like a lot of games do that, and I think that part of it sounds kind of neat. I will say though, as someone who hasn't ever played EVE, but I certainly heard all the stories and read stuff about all the crazy stuff they do and heard about the incredible learning curve. This almost makes me less want to, because now I hear that not only do I have to learn all the stuff in EVE, but I'll have to take like a class to learn how to play EVE. Oh my God, do I not want to do this now?
Well, I got some spare time on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I could take that sequel class I've been meaning to take and help my career, but hell no, we've got EVE seminars starting. That's another thing, too. It's like, if this is in the U.S., you're probably going to catch the tape, right? If you're going to watch this or take part in the U.S. The times aren't all that convenient U.S., and God, don't say that I'm saying they have to be. Not everything has to be catered to the U.S. But we're talking about Tuesdays and Thursdays in the middle of the afternoon for East Coast at 10 a.m. on the West Coast. So they're not ideal times, so plan on probably watching the playback if you're in the U.S.
So what's really hilarious about this story and how different we are as gamers, because Jason just sat here and was like, this makes me not want to play it. And when I saw this article, I was like, oh my God, you're going to make me play EVE Online again, are you? Like, you're going to get me back in. It's perfect. Different MMOs for different types of people. Different MMOs for different types of people. Like, it completely makes me almost want to get back into EVE and actually attend these things and do it. And I'm not like...
And I've tried getting into EVE multiple times. And I get in a little bit, and I'm just like, you know what? I could figure this out and probably do well at it, but I don't want to take the time. It's not captivating me enough to do it. And when I first saw this, I was like, well, that's probably pretty... No, I don't want to spend 10 hours to... Like I said, to me, it's I'm like right in between where both of your mindsets are. I think it's a cool idea. It's definitely community oriented, and I'd like to see other games adopt it in a little bit smaller way. But it's not compelling enough for me as the almost interested in EVE to cross that line and be interested in it. It's too much for me to cross.
All right, well, keep an eye on that. Those things are starting. What's that, Jason?
I'll just say this is the disconnect that we have, in that you want to play everything, but you never do. So what good does that do the company?
Not sure how that makes any sense, but I'll move on. All right. Let's see. So a couple quick hits before we get out of here. So I want to see your guys' opinion on this one. This was the big news of this week. It kind of physically hurts me, but BioWare are actually doing something right for free-to-play players in the Star Wars. The Old Republic. We covered a lot of this on the Republic, so if you want to go watch that episode where we go over in detail. But their new expansion, Galactic Space Garage, is going to be absolutely
I
free.
Don't think that's what they named that one.
Oh no, sorry, I
haven't played in a little while, but I'm just guessing that was probably the name I wanted. Not it.
That's the name I wanted. I don't know. What's your opinion? I'm really kind of like kudos, 2 thumbs up to BioWare for releasing this expansion completely for everyone for free. It's a free expansion.
Yep.
Nice to see them finally putting real interesting space combat in the game.
Does this get you
There's
back into the game, Jason? Zero tutorials, zero learning curve, mindless, just shooting in space. Basically, you can autopilot probably. So is this right up your alley?
Brutal. And you know what? There's like people in chat that think the three of us hate each other because we do nothing but argue about things on this show. And you two aren't helping that right now.
Shut up, Mike.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, my issue with Sword Art is still more about the line that I was a subscriber for 3 months and they won't let me back in unless I pay. They won't let me enjoy the perks of my subscription unless I pay again for like the basic stuff of hot bars and what have you. So
yeah, but the expansion will be free even for free players. You're going to get a time gate, so they're going to release it to subscribers first, then preferred players after, and then free players. So at one point, you will get it absolutely free without having to pay.
No, I agree with that, and I think it is really cool. And because it is something that it's such a basic part of the game that probably should have been something like that in there at launch. That it makes sense that they would include it as part of the free package. I think it would have been really bad for them if it would have been a paid only kind of thing.
So it sounds like this might actually intrigue you to get back into the old SWTOR a little bit and give it a shot.
I'll probably at least check it out, see what it's like.
Nailed it. And Mr. Mike Byrne, they do have some
updated.
I mean, they already have, some fetish gear, some gag balls, pink lightsabers. So I assume that you're totally in on it as well.
I could get a mount with some Christmas lights on it.
So you're there.
After watching Laura and Larry and you talk about it last night on the Republic, I'm a huge Old Republic fan until it came out. Well, slightly after that. Yes, I updated it, and I think it's great what they're doing with not only the content, but also the sub. It actually is enticing to sub and not feeling like I have to. There's still aspects of that, of the whole model I don't like, but with this expansion...
You going to sub? You going to sub to get it early? You going to sub to get it on December 3rd?
I am. It's a two-month gap. So yes, I'm going to sub for at least a month or so to get into that content to speak about it. It worked.
Jason, will it get you to sub or no? No. I'm with you. All right, let's move on. City of Heroes, spiritual successor. City of Titans has reached its goal on Kickstarter. So with 23 days to go, it's well over $320,000 goal. You guys talked about this last week, so we won't get into any of that. My big question, honestly, I got to ask, so you guys went over this a little bit more in detail, but how are they making anything for $300,000?
Especially when they lay out in their process that most of the money's we spent on software. Just to get I'm just asking, because I'm not following this insanely closely, but really, what are you doing with $300,000 for an MMO? I mean, that sounds like maybe they got a chair. All volunteers. They're all volunteers, so they're not going to pay anybody anything to make it, I guess.
Well, they got their goal, so we'll see. You guys were Heroes fans, right? City of Heroes? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was my first MMO.
That was Mr. Winter. He loves that game.
I loved it. It was alright. But yeah,
I don't know where's now. I just want to know where the SWG version is. Who's gonna make that? Get it on Kickstarter. I'll fund that. Maybe we should do that. Maybe I'll do that.
That's where. Well, you're gonna do it when you get into EverQuest Next and make your Jedi Palace or whatever, and have a pink sword and call it a lightsaber.
Gary's like, give me crafting where I have to build 99 marbles and then I have to crunch them all up to make one glass cup. That's the type of crafting I want.
Hopefully there's classes that I have to take to learn crafting as well. I could show up to those.
That's right. If I don't have to attend
I have to go to a woodworking class tonight, Byrne. I'll see you.
Do it right.
I've got wood chiseling 101 tonight. Hey, I'm working on that.
Hey, Cannon, you getting into Final Fantasy? No, I got a pottery class tonight.
I got a pottery class. All right, last of this week, Lots Online. The occasionally controversial MMO that we talk about once in a while. They're adding subscription-only servers. What's up with this? Talk about separating the community. I don't know. What do you guys think of this approach?
I really like it, but
really
not for outlets. No, I don't like them doing it this far in the game's lifespan because, like you said, it is deliberately wrecking an already low population of gamers and tearing it apart into two different servers. I like the idea of a subscription server for free-to-play games where the rules are different. Because I hate the idea of subs that offer X number of perks for a free-to-play game as far as like experience boosts and stupid things like that. I really like the idea where companies just like, hey, if you like our game enough to sub, then you know what? We're not going to even deal with any of this side stuff. Just go ahead and give us the $15 a month, and you have access to everything. We're not going to give you a couple bonuses for giving us that sub. We're just going to give you everything. I really like the idea, but I think it's too little too late for a lot.
Subscriptions.
Most games have that, but they don't separate their players on a different server. Or a lot
True.
of games have that. So
Right.
Burn just wants the subscription
I
server.
like the idea of a subscription-only server.
Pink
Enjoy
Swords and
with your-
Autoplay. That's what we'll call it. Subscription service. Pink Swords and Autoplay. There you go. Mike Byrne. Follow him on Twitter at MagicMan. MIGICKMANN1. And right here on TWIMMO and, of course, XIV Reborn, the Final Fantasy XIV show, right here on GameBreaker.tv and XIV Nation. Jason Winter, you can follow him at Winter Informal, at Winter Informal. And catch him right here on the This Week in MMO every Friday at 3. Always a
do not
pleasure,
have to
gentlemen.
take classes to read my Twitter.
Exactly.
No
It's
seminars for
pretty easy
reading my
stuff.
Twitter.
You can follow me, Gary Gannon. Follow GameBreaker TV, and come on over. We got the GBN cast for the GameBreaker Nation. If you guys are interested in that, definitely check that out. I got a lot of information in there about what's going on behind the scenes with GameBreaker and lots to talk about. So, and we also are still looking for GameBreaker Nation guild officers and event coordinators for various games. So if you're interested in one of those positions or multiple positions, send an email to submit@gamebreaker.tv for information on that, and either Quinlan or Missy will get back to you. All right, so we do the show live every single Friday at 3. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are awesome, and we'll see you next week for some more MMO talk.